April 26, 1986. 1:23 a.m. northern Ukraine. For most people, just another quiet night, right?
Right. Completely ordinary.
But in that precise moment, in the blink of an eye, the world changed. Irrevocably.
It really did, fundamentally. So today, our deep dive takes us into Chernobyl. And look, it's far more than just the story of a reactor.
Oh,
It's a pivotal moment, a time when the atom, this incredible force we've harnessed, well, it tragically turned against us.
exactly. And our mission today, yours and mine, is to sift through the sources, the articles, the research, our notes, and really pull out the most important nuggets about this event. We want to help you understand not just what happened.
But why? Why it's still such a haunting lesson, such a powerful reminder, even now, decades later.
Yeah, think of this as your shortcut, maybe, to getting properly informed about a catastrophe that didn't just expose, mechanical failure.
No, it went deeper. It unveiled some pretty profound truths about human nature, the dangers of unchecked power, and our whole complex relationship with technology. So let's really unpack the specifics.
Okay, let's dive right into the disaster itself. It all centered on reactor number 4 at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Now, this wasn't just any old reactor. It was an RBMK 1000, Soviet design, graphite moderated.
And that's key. The sources really highlight that it wasn't even a test of the reactor's core safety systems that went wrong. It was a specific test, a turbine rundown test.
Right, testing if the turbines could power coolant pumps during a shutdown.
Exactly. And that RBMK design, well, it had this known flaw, a positive void coefficient.
Which sounds complicated, but...
Well, basically, it means if steam bubbles increased in the core, like during unstable operation, the reactor's power would actually increase, not decrease.
creating a feedback loop, a dangerous one.
Hugely dangerous, especially at low tower. And during this test, the operators, well, they broke safety protocols. They disabled automatic shutdowns, ran the reactor at dangerously low power.
And then the attempt to shut it down.
That triggered it. The positive void coefficient kicked in, leading to this uncontrollable power surge.
And the result of that surge, just cataclysmic. The sources detail not one, but two massive explosions.
That's right. First, a steam explosion. All that superheated water flashing instantly to steam blew the 1,000-ton lid right off the reactor.
1,000 tons just gone.
And then, moments later, a second explosion. Hydrogen. These blasts just ripped through the building. Concrete, steel, everything exposed the reactor core, the radioactive heart, straight to the open air.
And that unleashes the silent killer, radiation.
Yeah. And what's truly chilling, I think, is how imperceptible it is.
You can't see it, smell it, taste it, nothing.
Exactly. It's pure energy, particles, waves. But it was immediately there, in the air, settling on the ground, carried by the wind. For people nearby, it was already inside them, in their lungs, on their skin, damaging their DNA, without a single warning sign from their senses.
It's just an almost unimaginable kind of threat. And then you have the immediate human reaction, the firefighters.
The firefighters. Brave doesn't even begin to cover it. Often young guys rush to the scene. They had no real idea what they were facing.
The sources paint this picture, don't they? Seeing blue flames dancing in the night sky.
Yeah, which was the graphite burning, highly radioactive graphite.
And they genuinely thought it was just a roof fire.
It's incredible courage, absolutely. Yeah. But also just a tragic failure of information. They were picking up radioactive graphite blocks, bare hands.
Bare hands, the very moderator material from the core.
And that graphite, exposed to air at high temperatures, it burns intensely, just pours more radiation out. Their bodies soaked up lethal doses in minutes. Many got sick within hours. Acute radiation sickness, nausea, vomiting, horrible skin burns. Some died terrible within days. Others, well, they lingered, suffering the effects for months, years. Heroes, yes, but unknowing heroes sent against an enemy they couldn't see or comprehend.
And this is where the story gets somehow even darker. While all this is happening, The government's response?
Silence. Complete silence initially. No public warning, nothing. The world, even the people living right there, they were kept in the dark. Remember, this was the Cold War. State secrecy was everything.
Even above human life, it seems.
That silence had immediate, terrible consequences. Think about Pripyat. The town built for the plant workers, just a few kilometers away. Nearly 50,000 people.
And for them?
Life just went on. Completely normal. Kids were playing outside, people went to work, weddings happened, all under skies filled with this invisible radioactive dust.
It's staggering, the disconnect.
Yeah, the sources really stress that. The calm facade versus the catastrophic reality just next door.
And the delay. The delay in doing anything. It took, what, 36 hours?
A staggering 36 hours to finally start evacuating Pripyat. 36 hours of exposure.
And even then, they weren't told the truth, were they?
No. The message was deceptive. It'll only be for 3 days, a temporary thing. Leave your belongings.
But they never returned.
Never. That city, once so full of life, became a ghost town overnight. A monument to that lie.
And this invisible cloud, it didn't respect borders.
Not at all. The sources track it meticulously. The wind carried it everywhere. Belarus got hit hard, obviously. Yeah. Then across Scandinavia, even reaching the UK, other parts of Europe, it was actually a Swedish nuclear plant, Forsmark.
Right, their sensors picked it up.
Exactly. They detected abnormally high radiation levels, completely unexpected. That's what really set off the international alarm bells. The secret was starting to unravel.
So the world starts asking questions, but Moscow's official line was, well, initially denials, then downplaying, trying to bury the truth.
Literally burying it in a way. Just like they eventually entombed the reactor itself in that concrete sarcophagus built in haste.
Yeah.
But, the sources say something powerful here. Truth has a way of leaking through, like radiation. Invisible, but unstoppable.
That's quite a line.
It is, and it proved true. Despite the state control, people started speaking out. Scientists, engineers, whistleblowers, brave people risking everything.
What did they reveal?
They confirmed what many suspected, that the RBMK reactor was flawed. This design could run away under certain conditions. They talked about safety tests being rushed, ignored, and maybe worst of all, they exposed this culture.
Pride over caution.
Exactly. Political pride, systemic pressure to meet targets, put ahead of actual safety, ahead of people's lives.
Yeah.
This wasn't just an accident. It was a disaster waiting to happen, really. A mix of bad design, human error, and this deep-seated culture of secrecy.
So let's talk about the scale then. The sheer devastation. The numbers the sources say are just mind-boggling.
They really are. More radiation released than Hiroshima and Nagasaki combined.
Combined from one reactor accident.
Yeah. A silent, invisible force, but on an unprecedented destructive scale. And the effects you could see, horrific. The red forest nearby where the pine trees literally turned red and died. Animals born with terrible deformities. And the human cost. Cancer rates, particularly thyroid cancer in kids, just skyrocketed across Ukraine, Belarus, parts of Russia. It took decades to see the full extent. An entire region, once alive, became this ghost landscape.
And yet, amidst all that, life came back.
It did. And this is maybe one of the most surprising and kind of profound parts of the story that emerges from the research. Life returned to the exclusion zone. Not human life, obviously. It's still largely too radioactive for us.
But nature.
But nature, yes. Wolves, wild boar, moose. Even rare animals like bears and lynx, they've moved in. Trees are pushing up through roads, through buildings. It's like the earth itself is reclaiming it.
As if it wants to forget the human part and just start over.
Something like that. It's created this unique, if slightly eerie, wildlife haven. A testament to nature's resilience, I suppose.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? Because Chernobyl, as the sources keep pointing out, it's more than just a nuclear accident. It acts like a mirror.
A mirror reflecting what?
Well, showing us what happens when power, nuclear power, political power, technological power goes unchecked. What happens when warnings get ignored? whether those warnings come from engineers or just from, common sense.
And the cost of choosing silence over truth.
Exactly, the catastrophic cost.
So thinking about that mirror,
Mm-hmm.
what are the specific lessons we should be taking away today? Because Chernobyl, now, it's a ruin. It's a tourist site, believe it or not.
A dark tourist site, yeah.
But beyond that, it's this enduring, haunting lesson. It reminds us just how thin that line is between progress and, well, destruction.
Science, technology, incredibly powerful tools.
Incredibly powerful, yes. But also fragile. They depend so much on ethics, on transparency, on basic human responsibility. One moment, one bad decision, one act of denial, it really can change everything for generations.
So when we talk about Chernobyl today, we're really not just telling the story of an exploded reactor.
No, it's much bigger. It's a story of, yes, profound human error,
Yeah.
but also incredible human courage. Think of those firefighters, the liquidators.
Absolutely. It's about everything we lost, their lives, homes, trust, and maybe most importantly, it's about what we must never lose again. The truth.
So as you listening, reflect on this story. Maybe think about what part resonates most with you. Is it the danger of things we can't see, like radiation, and why we need to respect them?
Or maybe the critical need for transparency, the danger when information is hidden, especially by those in power during a crisis.
Or maybe it's that surprising resilience of nature, that reminder that life finds a way even after we mess things up so badly.
Yeah. Think about how these lessons, these complicated threads from Chernobyl, might apply to how you look at other complex issues today, and why seeking truth, even difficult truth, is just so fundamentally important for all of us.